Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
In the mist-shrouded highlands of Ethiopia, where ancient monasteries cling to cliffs and echoes of sacred chants roll over stone-carved churches, a claim resounds that rivals the ecclesiastical center of Rome. This claim isn't just spiritual, it's historical, cultural, and theological. For centuries, Ethiopia has upheld a vision of Christianity that is as old, if not older, than the traditions housed beneath the gilded ceilings of the Vatican. Here lies one of history's most enduring religious paradoxes: two Christian powerhouses, separated by continents but connected by a singular faith, each asserting its place as custodian of the true Christian story. This isn't just a rivalry of belief. It is a tale of lost gospels, political power, imperial conquest, colonial distortion, and deep-rooted faith. While the Vatican emerged as the seat of the Roman Catholic Church, shaping much of Europe's religious and political trajectory, Ethiopia nurtured a Christianity unbroken since the Apostolic Age, older than many European states, untarnished by the Nicene political compromises, and fiercely independent in doctrine and tradition. So, who really holds the keys to Christianity's original legacy? The marble halls of Rome or the monastic citadels of Axum and Lalibela? Ethiopia's Christian roots trace back to the 1st century AD, long before Constantine's Edict of Milan legalized Christianity in the Roman Empire in 313 AD. According to Acts 8 verses 26-40, an Ethiopian eunuch and official under Queen Candace was baptized by Philip the Evangelist, marking one of the earliest conversions to Christianity outside the Jewish world. This conversion wasn't a fringe event. It symbolizes the deep inroads Christianity made in Africa long before Europe fully embraced the faith. By the early 4th century, Christianity had become the official religion of the Axumite Empire under King Ezana, making Ethiopia one of the first Christian nations in the world. This predates the Christianization of much of Europe and challenges the traditional Eurocentric narrative that Christianity's roots are exclusively Mediterranean or European. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church will become a cornerstone of national identity. With its unique Christological position, Tewahedo, meaning being made one, Ethiopian Christianity diverged from the Diophysite Christology adopted at the Council of Chalcedon for 51 AD, which declared Christ to exist in two natures, human and divine. Ethiopia, in contrast, held fast to Miaphysitism, believing in one united nature of Christ. This doctrinal distinction became one of many rifts between the African Church and Rome. While Ethiopia developed its theology independently, Rome was undergoing a metamorphosis. From a persecuted sect in the catacombs to the official state religion of the Roman Empire, Christianity in Europe became deeply intertwined with imperial power. The Vatican, emerging from this political-theological nexus, positioned itself as the supreme arbiter of Christian orthodoxy. Under Pope Leo I and later Pope Gregory I, the Roman Church consolidated power, gradually subjugating regional churches and standardizing doctrine. The Church of Rome drew legitimacy not only from its proximity to the supposed martyrdom site of St. Peter, but also through its political alliances and the development of canon law. Crucially, the Vatican also inherited the power to define heresy, a prerogative it would use liberally to brand Eastern and African Christian traditions as deviant or heterodox. The Council of Chalcedon, for instance, cast churches like the Ethiopian Orthodox as monophysite and therefore heretical, despite significant theological nuance. This labeling helped isolate the Ethiopian Church from broader Christendom and delegitimize its claim to historical authenticity in the eyes of the West. European colonialism, led by powers aligned with the Vatican or Protestant crowns, furthered the narrative that Africa was a dark continent in need of Christian enlightenment. This deeply flawed perception ignored Ethiopia's robust Christian traditions, ancient texts in Guizi, and architectural marvels like the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela. When Portuguese Jesuits arrived in Ethiopia in the 16th century, they were shocked by what they found: an ancient Christian empire with its own rituals, theology, and ecclesiastical hierarchy. Initially welcomed, These missionaries soon attempted to bring the Ethiopian church under the authority of Rome, leading to conflict, rejection, and eventual expulsion. This episode highlighted Ethiopia's unyielding resistance to foreign control over its religious identity. The Ethiopian Church, far from being a recent or derivative institution, had no need for Vatican approval. It had preserved its faith through Muslim invasions, internal dynastic turmoil, and centuries of isolation. Unlike much of Africa, Ethiopia was never colonized, militarily nor theologically. The Vatican holds vast archives and has influenced global Christianity through its canonization of Scripture, establishment of ecumenical councils, and dissemination of Latin liturgy. But Ethiopia offers a compelling counter-history. It preserves a version of the Bible that includes texts omitted from Western canons, such as the Book of Enoch and Jubilees. These works, though once revered in early Christianity, were excluded during the process of biblical canonization in the West, raising questions about what was lost or deliberately excluded from the so-called universal Christian tradition. Moreover, while Latin was the liturgical language of Rome, Ethiopia maintained Guizi, a Semitic tongue closer to Hebrew and Aramaic, the languages spoken by Jesus and his earliest followers. This linguistic continuity adds another layer of authenticity to Ethiopia's claim of preserving original Christian teachings. Perhaps no artifact fuels the mystery and spiritual prestige of Ethiopian Christianity more than the claim that the Ark of the Covenant resides in Axum. According to Ethiopian tradition and a revered Keber Nagast, the Ark was brought to Ethiopia by Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. This claim situates Ethiopia not just as a peripheral Christian culture, but as a central player in biblical history itself. While the Vatican boasts the bones of saints and relics enshrined in gold, Ethiopia claims the actual Ark, the divine throne of God's presence. Whether or not this claim is historically verifiable, it reflects a powerful sense of sacred legitimacy that no papal decree can easily dismiss. So, who controls the true Christian history? The Vatican undoubtedly shaped global Christianity through doctrine, evangelism, and empire. It standardized the faith, forged alliances with monarchies, and orchestrated councils that defined orthodoxy for much of the world. Its influence is etched into the very map of modern religion. Yet Ethiopia stands as a living testament to an older, perhaps purer stream of Christianity, untainted by imperial ambition, doctrinal politics, and colonial manipulation. It preserved texts, traditions, and liturgies that the rest of Christendom either lost or discarded. In its mountain monasteries and hidden manuscripts lies a version of Christianity as ancient and authentic as the one enthroned in Rome. The dichotomy is not merely theological, but civilizational. One represents a universal church built atop empire and European tradition, the other a resilient indigenous faith rooted in Semitic culture and African soil. In the end, the question is not whether one tradition invalidates the other, but whether history is richer, broader, and more inclusive than what the Western canon has long dictated. Perhaps the real truth of Christian history lies not in choosing sides, but in recognizing that the full picture includes both thrones, both crosses, and the winding, sometimes conflicting paths they represent.